Welcome, welcome, welcome. As promised, I am in for a live reading, and I really wanted to, tap into the energy. There's been a lot of messages that have been, in the works. That I have been led, to deliver offline and in different creative ways. But at this time, I am being guided to go ahead and do a new reading. You have all that you need within to create the life of your dreams. I'm just gonna tap the bell to cleanse out the energy, cleanse out the space for grounding, for reconnection, for divine alignment. Rejecting all projections of the enemy, deflecting all projections of the enemy, breaking the curses of the enemy, breaking and reversing the curses of the enemy. It's my second live for today. So, I'm getting a whole lot of just, viciousness, but now is the time for justice. This is the season of victory. All that the enemy attempted to kill, steal, and destroy has been recovered, has been recalled, and is being restored. It is being returned. You see things. You're spiritually gifted. You see things. You sense things, before it happens. Your name is ringing bells at this time. You're the siren. Ring me along. But I want you to ring me along. You're the siren. You light up the room. You have all that you need within to create the life of your dreams. Confirmation. You have all that you need, Your blessings are eternal. Your abundance is eternal. Your prosperity is eternal. You got people that thought it was cool to eat off of your plate. A bunch of copycats and bandwagoners in your energy. You know why? Because you legendary. You are legendary, and you are creating a legacy. You are reclaiming the royal presidents of your ancestors at this time. You have tapped in to your inner strength. This is going to be a message of awareness, a message of clarity, to ignite healing, promote unity, and to slay some demons. So we're going to slay some demons today, baby. All right. So your brother's killer has no remorse, and this was a planned execution. Again, this is a season of justice. All that the enemy attempted to kill, steal, and destroy is being recovered and restored. We got folks that try to walk in your shoes. You know, we got petty acts that your haters been committing. Just been performing. They've been performing. That's what they've been doing. It's a bunch of these are a bunch of wannabe down ass clowns. You know, we got folks cutting your hair while you're asleep. You know, justice is now. You know, as petty as it sounds, like that's extreme, cutting someone's hair while they're asleep. You know, your name is ringing bells, but these are very vengeful, very envious, and very jealous individuals that you are surrounded by. You know, your name is ringing bells. Again, you are the siren, the truth speaker, the truth seeker. And you light up the room. You know, that's why these people continuously throw shade. Because they hate that you shine bright. Cleansing is taking place for you at this time. You know, again, these people tried to walk in your shoes and tripped over their own goddamn feet. You know, this is a stolen identity. You're being targeted by someone that works at the bank. At a bank where your trust fund is held. This secret trust fund, again, has been recovered. It's being restored. It's being multiplied. And it's being returned to you at this time. It's on its way to you. Ground yourself to receive the abundance that is in store. Again, this stolen inheritance, this secret trust fund, is being uncovered. It's being returned to you. Like water, your abundance is flowing in and through you at this time. Abundance is flowing in and through you at this time. You know, again, we're in this 10-10 energy. You know, we're welcoming major wins. We're reaching major goals, major accomplishments. You know, and there's major blessings that are here. Major abundance is here. You know, you're entering the major leagues. And then I have you know, I'm a move past this card, and if it comes back out, then it is what it is. That's kind of heavy for to just be getting started in this reading. You've been here more times than most. Each time you return, you evolve into a higher power. You know, your enormous abundance, you know, intimidates the enemy. 504 energy, your royalty. Again, ground yourself to receive the abundance that is here for you. Your alien ancestors want you to know that they're here for you. A phone call away. ET phone home. Confirmation. I said that if this call came out again, you know, that we would go ahead on and share this card. And I am being guided to practice spiritual obedience. But I have a birth father here that is a murderer. A serial killer of some sort. There's purification that is here. Purification is taking place. You know, this birth father wanted you to feel broken and insecure. Your haters want you to feel broken and insecure. Attacking your confidence. You know, they want you to lack in confidence so you won't reach this God appointed purpose. You know, you're under divine assignment. The enemy would love for you to miss your calling. It's 314. Be conscious and be cautious of your surroundings at all times. You know, God is placing you in position. God is placing you right where you should be. Again, 314, 3:14 a.m. St. Louis is in the energy. A bunch of copycats and bandwagons. You know, they're in your energy because you're legendary. Ground yourself to receive the abundance that is in store. You're being guided down the yellow brick road. It's still 314. You know, again, be conscious and cautious at all times. There's people surrounding you that want you to feel insecure and broken. But again, you're being guided down this yellow brick road. Confirmation. You know, ground yourself to receive the abundance that is in store. Again, yes, these are a bunch of wannabe down, copycats, and bandwagons. There's so much abundance that is here for you. That card just keeps showing up. You know, your divine destiny shall be fulfilled in this season. You are victorious. There's cleansing that is taking place. There's purification that is taking place. You're being edified. You know, though you speak life into them, they spoke death over you. But you are a healer, you know, and you will continuously, you'll continue to regenerate. You know, your longevity will continue to outlast, you know, the curses and the spells, the trickery of the enemy, the foul tongue of the enemy. You know, ground yourself to receive the abundance. Again, you're eternally abundant. You know, you have an authentic way of doing things. And your haters, they just can't stand it. Them haters don't like that. You know, they don't like it. You did the work. You deserve the credit. Someone wants to take credit for the work that you have done. But you deserve the credit. You know, you have done the work. This is spiritual work. You know, this is something that you're working on. This is a masterpiece that you have created. Again, you have an authentic way of doing things. And your haters can't stand it. They don't like it. You know, though you speak life, they speak death over you. You know, you speak life into them and they spoke death over you. You know, and then we have someone that has been working with a community of people to destroy you. It's a masculine that is working with the community of people to destroy you. You know, whatever you do, don't stop dreaming, envisioning, or creating. You know, because you have created a masterpiece. Your creativity is being unleashed. You are worthy. You are gifted. You are multifaceted. You are talented. You got genius energy. You know, you've been here more times than most. Each time that you return, you continue to evolve into a higher power. You know, again, these copycats and bandwagoners and your energy simply because you are legendary. You know, they're jealous, they're envious of that divine energy that you carry. You know, again, you're so authentic. You know, you are so authentic. These people that want you to feel insecure and broken is because they are insecure and they are broken. You know, they haven't taken the time to go within. They haven't taken the time to heal. These copycats and these bandwagons, you know, they're empty vessels. They're not healing, they're hurting. They're not only hurting, intending to hurt others, you know, the people that are around them, but they're hurting themselves. They're eternally harming themselves. You know, these copycats and these bandwagons. You know, if you aren't treating yourself like royalty, you should be. You really should be. Because you are royalty. You know, a royal heir. God chose you. You know, God chose you for this seat. He wants you placed on the throne. Again, look, confirmation. If you aren't treating yourself like royalty, then you should be. You know, these people took away your photos. They took away your memories, your heirlooms, because the plan was to erase you. But you best to believe that plan has backfired on the enemy. There is nothing that the enemy can do to stop, block, or destroy what God has for you. All that they attempted to kill, steal, and destroy is being recovered and restored. It is being multiplied. It is being returned to you. There's an abundance of blessings that have been declared to manifest for you in this season that are already here for you. All you have to do is claim it in order to receive it. You know, it backfired. God has placed a shield of protection all around you. You are divinely protected. You are being divinely guided. And you are being divinely led. You know? Yeah. They ain't know they're going to learn today. They're going to find out. They're about to find out. Fuck around and find out. Your enormous abundance intimidates the enemy. 504. You are royalty. Confirmation. And again, you have been here before, more times than most. Each time that you return, you continue to evolve into a higher power. You know, you have taken back your authority. You have taken back your God power. You're standing in your God energy. You're standing in your divine energy. 3, 2, 1, and you're slaying these demons. Time's up for the enemy. Time's up for your haters. You know, your peace is being restored. Again, you have been here before. You know, if you're experiencing deja vu, it's because you're being reminded, you know, of who you are, past, present, and future. You've been here more times than most. Confirmation. Each time that you return, you evolve into a higher power. You know, these copycats, these bandwagons, they're being pulled out of your energy. And again, you know, they see that divine light, you know. They're attracted to your light. Even though they hate to see it, they're attracted to your light. Even though they hate to see it. You know, your divine destiny shall be fulfilled. It shall. God's promises, God's plans for you, you know, are being fulfilled in this season. You have all that you need within to create the life of your dreams. That's what you're doing. Enemy can't stand to see it. They hate to see it. Yeah, the gossip, the rumors, or the lies won't stop God's plans. It won't. Nope. Your peace is being restored. It is, you know, and again, your enormous abundance intimidates the enemy. They are extremely intimidated by your energy alone. You know, they're all being eliminated, starting at the head. There's a process of elimination that is taking place. The enemy is being pulled out of your energy. You know, these haters, these evildoers, they're being pulled out of their energy. Yep, because they all work together in an attempt to destroy you. These people that conspired, that planned, that plotted, that schemed, they're being pulled out of your energy. They're being eliminated. They're facing their defeat because you are victorious in this season. This is your season of victory. The time and the energy that you have put in, that you will put in, will be worth it. That is past, present, and future energy. You're creating a masterpiece. You know, again, it's impossible for the enemy to stop, block, or destroy God's plans for you. You know, they've been plotting and scheming for years, but their plots, their plans, or their scheme will never override God's plans. You know, you got folks doing witchcraft in your energy, spreading lies and disease. But again, the gossip, the rumors, none of their evil action will stop God's plans for you. Yeah, they all work together in an attempt to destroy you. But you have all that you need to create the life of your dreams. You know, God has placed a shield of protection all around you. These people that took away your photos, memories, and heirlooms, you know, with the plan, devising a plan to erase you. This plan execution has backfired on the enemy, and they're all being exposed, each and every one of them. They're all being exposed for their evil plots and plans, intentions. They're all being exposed for their evil acts. You know, again, if you are not treating yourself like royalty, then you really should be. You know, you have all that you need to create the life of your dreams. God wants you to know that. You know, you are divinely resourced. You are divinely resourced. You know, yeah, you are royalty. Confirmation. Same 2 cards, you know. Yeah, they really want you to feel broken. But you have all that you need. You have all that you need. Confirmation. Look. Yep. They're all being eliminated. There's a process of elimination that is taking place at this time. These people are being eliminated. They are, you know. They tried to milk you out of your blessings. But you are the cow that jumped over the moon. You are the cow that jumped over the moon, baby. And we hit, oh, that was in my last reading about the moon. You're reaching for the stars in the moon. These are people that value money and fame more than they value the lives of others. Sacrificial energy. You know, but again, the gossip, the rumors, the lies, none of it will stop God's plans for you. You know that there is a difference in gatekeeping and protecting your authenticity, because you're truly an authentic being. You know, and the way that you do things are from a genuine space. You know, or you do things so authentically. You know, you did the work and you deserve the credit. You know, yeah. This parent that authorized the hit on their own child or children. This parent is being pulled out of the energy. Confirmation. Look, this parent is being pulled out of the energy. There's restoration that is taking place, mind, body, and spirit. Got exes on witchcraft. And a parent that authorized the hit on their own child or children. This parent and his ex could be working together. Yeah, the gossip, the rumors, other lies won't stop God's plans. Look, this parent authorized a hit on their own child or children. Clarity is being received at this time. This parent is being pulled out of the energy. Anything else from here? You know, we just want to ensure that, you know, we're being made aware of this parent that authorized the hit on their own child or children. Purification is taking place. Healing is taking place. Ancestral healing is taking place. You know, your name is ringing bells because you're the siren, the truth speaker. Again, there's purification that is taking place at this time. You know, healing as the message is being received. You know, it may ignite healing, but it may also hurt in the process of healing. You know, they've been plotting and scheming for years, but these plots or schemes will never override God's plans. Not ever. The gossip, the rumors, or the lies, you know, won't stop what God has for you. If you aren't treating yourself like royalty, again, you really should be. plots and the plans of the enemy, you know, are being illuminated. And just know that again, it will never override God's plans for you. You know, bitch ass niggas do bitch ass things. That's what they do. You know, a hater gonna hate. Yeah, but it's impossible for them to stop, block, or destroy what God has for you. The time and the energy that you put in will be worth it. You know, this is past, present, future energy. Yep, because they all work together in an attempt to destroy you. And again, you did the work, you deserve the credit, you know. This restoration is here and now. So ground yourself to receive the abundance that is here for you. Because there is so much abundance that is here for you. God is about to exceed your expectations. Yeah. Somebody want to leave you in, set you in a lion's den. You are wise before your years, wise beyond your years. You know, yes. Again, this was a blood sacrifice. It's this birth father. But Jesus wasn't brought here to be a sacrifice, and neither were you. You know, there's so many that were involved in stealing your inheritance. But this old money is being multiplied and restored. There's so many of them involved. But they're all being revealed. Their evil works are being exposed, and they're all being eliminated. Again, this is blood sacrifice energy, sacrificial energy. You know, you're wise beyond your years, way ahead of your time. You know, so many were involved. There's so many people that are involved in stealing from you. But this old money is being recovered, it's being restored, it's being multiplied, it's on its way to you. You know, you're standing in this goddess energy. Again, these people are being eliminated, they're being exposed for their evil works. You know, this whole community will face judgment for their evil acts against you and your bloodline. There's a whole community that is facing judgment at this time. You know, and then I got, she was never a friend. She been hating with her fake ass. Somebody in your energy pretended to be a friend, was never a friend. They always was a hater. They standing in the background talking a whole lot of shit. Because they've been plotting and planning to take something from you. But you know where your strength comes from. And doing your spring cleaning is revealing and exposing the snakes in the grass. Just know that your birth mother is being free from the tricks, traps, and tactics of the enemy, mind, body, and spirit, past, present, and future. Somebody played with you at your grandmother's funeral. Their evil works are being revealed. They're being exposed, and they're all being eliminated. You know, you're a queen, you're a king, and you are chosen at birth. Your crown and your throne has been denied for far too long. You are reclaiming the presidents, the royal presidents of your ancestors. You know, these people been slandering in attempt to ruin your reputation and defame you. But the enemy is defeated. party was canceled. The enemy gathered to plan they gathered to plan and celebrate your defeat, but the party was canceled. Divine intervention is here for you. The enemy is defeated. You are victorious. You fall from a victim. You know, you're powerful and magnetic, and you are attracting your heart's desires. You know, continue to have faith. Continue to stand on faith. Continue to stand on business. You know, they're talking a lot of shit, but none of it went over your head, and they will be embarrassed by your victory. They will be so embarrassed because there's so many of them, first of all. It's so many of them. They about to be tore up. Yeah, they about to be tore up. Again, look. They gathered to plan and to celebrate your defeat, but the party was canceled. Divine intervention stepped in. This evil voodoo priest practicing Hinduism and voodoo to block and destroy you is being pulled out of the energy. The evil works are being illuminated. They are being eliminated. Evil family exposed and eliminated. Again, you are healing this generational trauma and these afflictions. You are healing, you are healing, you are healing, not only from within, not only yourself, but the energy around you, the energy that surrounds you is being healed. The people, places, and things that are around you are being healed in your presence. You know, your quietness is in connection to your eternal wisdom. Oh yeah, the plots and the plans of the enemy have come to a screeching halt. They have received their divine order of cease and desist. You know, someone was being forced to copy and to mock you. You know, or they're being released from the traps of the enemy. Someone was being forced into a deadly game. They're being released from the traps of the enemy. Causing damage to your vehicles, your property. It's all being revealed. The enemies are being exposed. You know, they will be caught red-handed. You read minds, hear thoughts, and sense energy. You know, again, you have powerful spiritual gifts, gifts of the spirit. You're powerful and magnetic, attracting your heart's desires. Bitch niggas that fight women but won't go toe-to-toe with a man in the energy. Not nobody that they know could defend themselves or tap and whoop that ass. Put something in your yard. Somebody put a fly trap in your yard. This was witchcraft being performed. You're wise beyond your years again, you know. You see it, you sense it, and you feel it before it happens. Healing is now. You got neighbors. You got haters, haters, haters. Let me tell you something. People are jumping on this bandwagon and don't even know you. They don't even know you like that. But they're followers. They're all a bunch of followers. Trying hard to hide their jealousy. They're all jealous. They're all envious of you in some way, shape, form, or fashion. They're jealous of something about you. Whether it be your beauty, your natural beauty, your skills, your gifts, your talents, you know, your energy. These people, this is a lot of jealous ass energy. And it's a damn shame. Because we're all individuals. You know, and we all have our own shared blessings. God created us all uniquely, you know. He poured into us what he wanted us to have, what he felt like we can hold on, what we were able to carry, you know. All projections of the enemy are being immediately returned, rejected, and deflected. All evil projections, all of the evil projected is being deflected at this time. Excuse me. Yeah. Again, she was never your friend. She been hating. She been hating since the beginning. This whole community will face judgment for their evil acts against your bloodline. Again, these blood sacrifices are being revealed, the enemies are being exposed, and they're all being eliminated. You know, you have tapped into your goddess energy. You have tapped into your God power. Again, they're talking a lot of shit, but none of it went over your head, and they will be embarrassed by your victory. They're talking a lot of shit, but they ain't saying shit. They ain't saying shit. Look, what I said, they ain't saying shit. Your head is going to be choked up on the same foul words that they spoke over you. You know, the power of your presence was denied until you were no longer accessible to many of these people. You took back your authority. You cleansed your energy, you know. You begin to ground yourself. Like you really tapped in. Just know that these 401k benefits, the stocks, the retirement, pensions that have been aired to you are being multiplied in return. There's 401k benefits, there's stocks, there's retirement pensions that have been aired to you. And just know that they are being multiplied in return. You have yet to receive it, but it's on its way to you at this time. You know, God's timing is always perfect. Trust God's timing. You're being placed in alignment with God's timing. You know, they felt like as if they did it before you, or they do it before you, you know, that it's going to stop you from rising. But these monitoring entities are a lie. They're a goddamn lie. They're just like the devil. They're a lie. You know, again, you're in this goddess energy. You know, you're attracting all that God has for you. This abundance is here. You know, and you have attracted it. You have manifested it. You know. Again, there were so many that are involved in stealing your inheritance. But this old money is being multiplied. It is being restored. It is on its way to you. You know. You're very sensitive. And this is a gift. You know. Your empathy. Your sensitivity. Your clairvoyance. Your clairaudience. Your discernment, you know, it's a gift. These are all gifts. These are all supernatural gifts. You know, she has the same initials as your birth mother. Someone signed your signature or signed your mother's signature to forge or alter your birth certificate. You know, you have incredible brain power. You see it, you sense it, you feel it before it happens. You know, you're a powerful creator, innovative, authentic in what it is that you do. Whatever it is that you do. You know, again, these people have been trying hard to hide their jealousy. Someone being forced into a deadly game has been marked with tattoos. They have tattooed markings. Yeah. Unbelievable. But guess what? The evil works of the enemy have been illuminated. The masks have been ripped off of the faces of the enemy. And the enemy is being exposed. The enemy is facing defeat at this time. Every tongue that rises up against the divine manifestations that have been declared, carved out, that have been declared are being carved out of your space and your energy. Excuse me. 3, 4, 5. I'm telling you, this is divine alignment. Ground yourself. Keep going. You know, you're being placed in divine, in alignment with divine timing. You know, God has His hands on you. 3:45. Your birthday is to be celebrated. You are a blessing to the world around you. You know, you're a healer. You're a joy magnet. You know, you pour love and joy into others. Your haters are under fire. You got their blood boiling, you know, because they know this justice is now. Your presence is extremely powerful. I'm speaking to someone that is telepathic, you know. Your energy is powerful. You know, someone enters your home, your yard, or your vehicle without permission. You know, their evil acts are being exposed. Again, there is divine healing that is taking place for you at this time. You know, you were chosen at birth. You were chosen at birth. Just know that. You know, you got, your pain has been taken lightly and overlooked. But everything that the enemy attempted to take from you is being recovered, restored, multiplied, and returned. Healing is now. You know, you got an evil-ass sister-in-law that's on her way to prison for the evil acts, for her evil and vicious acts against you, against your bloodline. You know, the plots and the plans of the enemy have come to a screeching halt. They have received a divine order of cease and desist. Again, your pain has been taken lightly and overlooked. You know, these people illegally accessed accounts, you know, to transfer this wealth. But this wealth is being returned to you. You know, they've been threatening to harm you with violence, threatening to harm your bloodline, your loved ones. But the foul thoughts of the enemy, the intentions of the enemy, the plots and the plans of the enemy are being revealed, exposed, and the enemy is being eliminated. They are facing defeat at this time. You know, you're evolving. There's an evolution that is taking place around you. You know, and you are evolutionary. What you are doing, what you are working on, there's something that is evolutionary here. You know, you make it from scratch. That's what it is. Everything, you know, the things that you touch, you know, you work with authenticity. Again, there's a sister-in-law here that's on her way to prison for some very disgraceful acts. You know, you may be receiving intense deja vu at this time. Yeah, the enemy got more tricks up his sleeve than a little bit, but guess what? God's plans are way bigger. Way, way bigger. I know it's been a while since I did a live reading, y'all. It's serious. Like with these readings, I really have to, you know, ground myself. It's been a lot. You know, things have been really busy. Really, really busy on my end. But just know that I'm slaying these demons, baby. I'm claiming this victory. You best to believe it. Good day or bad day, I'm slaying. The enemy is defeated with tears in my eyes. I'm slaying. You hear me? When my energy feels depleted, I'm slaying. still slain. The enemy has been defeated. You know, slandering an attempt to ruin your reputation. Let me go ahead on and switch this deck. I think we got everything we're going to get out of it for right now. You know. Let me see. We're going to be here for a little while because we're going to get it all out. I'm not sure when the next time I'll be back for another reading. There's unguided. I'll say that, you know. They've been plotting and scheming for years, but their plots and schemes or their plans will never override God's plans for you. Okay, I think we worked in this deck already, yeah. Look, and it's the same thing. Don't come out. You know. Anything gonna come out of it. I'm gonna work the table here, y'all. See what we're gonna get out of here. You the real magician. You found the magic within. Truly magical. A magical being, you know. Your name is being cleared. You know. Your name is being cleared. Again, these people spreading lies, rumors, a lot of gossip, you know, but it's your due season. You know, so all that the enemy attempted to kill, steal, and destroy is being recovered and restored. It's being multiplied. It's being returned to you. You know? This hidden treasure is being uncovered. It's being restored. You know, you come from a royal family, and you're reclaiming the royal precedence of your bloodline. Unfuckwittable. You know, somebody just wanted you to blend in with the worker bees, but you're royalty, queen bee. Confirmation. I was going to skip past the color, but it wanted me to show. Yes, red roses are blooming for you, honeybee. You know, the butterfly, the ladybug. This is the energy that you're standing in. That's that goddess energy. That's that goddess energy. You know, wear white. Wear white in this coming season. You know, cleanse your energy, cleansing and purifying. Yep. You're a big problem to your haters. Every time they see you, you know, you glowing up, you elevating, you growing, you glowing. The bumblebee, you know, again, the work that you have put in, the work that you will put in will be worth it. You know, these people want to take credit for the work that you have done. But it's you did the work and you deserve the credit. You know, you're the humble, hard-working bumblebee in this season. You have been the humble, hard-working bumblebee. And this is your season of fruition. This coming season, this coming spring season will bring much fruition to your vision. Will welcome in much fruition to your vision for the hard work that you have put in, the dedication, the blood, sweat, and the tears. That's this bumblebee energy. You know, victory is about to bend the corner for you because, again, you are victorious. You are victorious in this season. You are royalty. You come from a royal family, a royal bloodline. And it is your due season. You know, humbly, look, more bumblebee energy. You have defeated your enemies. You know, you stood firm. You know, you still work. You continue to work. You continue to create. You continue to evolve. You remain humble, humbly. You defeated your enemies. Again, they wanted you to blend in with the worker bees, you know, but you're in this queen bee energy. The ladybug, you know, that divine energy, manifesting. You're manifesting. Red roses are blooming for you, confirmation. That goddess energy, that godly energy. Remain encouraged. Your divine relationships and partnerships are being released from the traps of the enemy. You can believe that, bet that. You know, bet that. Honeybee. The honeybee is being crowned. You know, prepare to do your rain dance. These folks wanted you to experience a drought. Look, summer rain. These are a group of mockingbirds, okay? You're continuously growing through whatever it is that you're going through. You're growing through it. You know, there's something that is buried under the trees in connection to this, in connection to this abundance that the enemy is attempting to steal, that the enemy is attempting to kill, steal, and destroy. You know, look, get your rain boots and your rain boots ready, baby. Oh yeah, it's time to, it's your season. It's your due season. Rain dance. You about to be dancing in the rain. Summer rain. You know, and get your rain boots ready. Because you are being crowned in this season. You know, as the season changes. These seasonal changes are bringing in this abundance. These seasonal changes, you know, are uncovering this hidden treasure. Look. Yes, these seasonal changes. Victory is about to bend the corner for you. It's your due season. It is your due season. You know, again, you're being guided towards this treasure. You know, and you do come from a royal family. You are reclaiming the royal precedence of your bloodline. You know, so again, remain encouraged. You know, keep your head up high. Stand firm. Stand tall. You know, and there is a royal union that is also taking place for you. You know, kings and queens are rising into union in this season. All that God has for you is being manifested in abundance. This abundance is pouring in. All that God has for you is being manifested in abundance. You know, again, these people, you know, they wanted to cause delays within your union. 357, but you went up against the odds, you know, and you won. You've discovered the magic that is within. You know, you're the unicorn in this season. The unicorn, you know, presenting those billionaire vibes. The unicorn is in representation of the billionaire vibes that you exude. You know, this is what the enemy wanted to take from you. It's the billionaire vibes. But you have discovered the magic that is within. You have already overcome. You have already surpassed the boundaries, the barriers, the obstacles, the obstructions of the enemy. Again, spring. You know, prepare for an abundant harvest. Prepare for an abundant harvest. Yes. Your harvest will be of abundance in this season. This coming spring. You know, there's enhancements that are here for you. You're breaking free of this generational trauma. You know, you're healing. Abundance is pouring in, being attracted and received at this time. You know, it is your season, Cinderella. It's your season, Cinderella. So prepare to harvest in abundance, you know. Your haters, you know, they still sitting around hating and hurting. You know, you're healing. You're being healed and heightened while they hating and hurting. Heal people, heal people. Look. Healing. It's all around you. The setup against your divine path has backfired. Look, prepare to harvest in abundance. I couldn't get it off the tip of my tongue, but that's what it is. 3, 2, 1. Playtime is over. That's confirmation right there. Playtime over for the enemy. You're unstoppable in this season. You have already rose from the concrete. Look, you already rose from the concrete. You already overcome the boundaries. They tried to bury you. They tried to bury you and you rose from the concrete. These haters in disguise. You know? Yeah, resurrection. Rebirth. Regeneration. It's all here for you. Yeah. Loving yourself properly has set off an atomic bomb, Cinderella. It's your season. It's your due season. This abundance is pouring in. It's being attracted and it is being received. You know, you have broken free of this generational trauma. These enhancements are here for you. You're in this unicorn energy where you have discovered the magic that is within, exuding these billionaire vibes, you know, grounding yourself to receive the abundant harvest that is in store for you. Reclaiming your royal presidents. Yeah, that setup has backfired on the enemy. It definitely has backfired. All right, so now I know that the energy is going to get a little more intense before we close out this reading. So, you got your co-workers, past, present, future, going there as to prison for rape, fraud, assault, and more. Just know that God don't play about you. God does not play about you and you're hurt. Yeah. If they ain't know, they're going to learn today. And then I have a boxer going to prison for conspiring against your loved ones, against you, against your loved ones. You know, no weapon formed shall prosper. You know, your co-workers are on their way to prison. And we got a boxer on his way to prison. We got a boxer that's on his way to prison. Because God don't play about you. Yeah, rape. Look, didn't I just say your co-workers is on their way to prison for rape, for fraud, for assault, and more? Gang rape. These people gang rape. There's multiple victims. There's multiple incidents. I'm getting... Whew. Yep, it was your feast and everybody ate except you. All of this was done over greed. All of them hating. Hate, jealousy, envy. They raping folks just because they hating on a relationship. Because they hating on your position. Because they hating on your vibe. But God don't play about you. Because they hating on your mission. Look, these rapists are on their way to prison. All of their hating asses is on their way to prison. They on their way to prison. All of them. Look. They going their ass to jail. That's the way they going. They're going their ass to jail. These rapists. They on their way to prison. This 401k, this hidden 401k is being recovered. It's being restored. It's on its way to you. You're on a special assignment, and the enemy will love for you to miss your calling. Your birth father is going to prison for conspiring against his own family. This was a planned execution, but this plan has backfired on the enemy. Again, you're on a special assignment, and the enemy would love for you to miss your calling. Your co-workers are going to prison for rape and conspiracy. Confirmation. You know, there's names on these cards, so I'm not going to show them at this time. When I am led to, I will. Again, this 401k, I'm speaking to a 401k beneficiary. This 401k is on its way to you. Someone wanted to create an altercation to cause a delay in your progress. Yeah, this birth father, there's a birth father that's on his way to prison for conspiring against his own family because all of his evil works are being exposed. This was a planned execution and it backfired. Say fuck these haters, and they hating as friends too. Because these people came together to conspire, to plot, to plan, to scheme. This demonic minister spreading lies and disease is being revealed, exposed, and eliminated. You know, connect with water. You're being guided to connect with the element of water, to cleanse your energy, to purify your energy, to tap into your your spiritual gifts. Connect with water. Someone is being forced into a deadly game. Someone has been forced into a deadly game, but they are being released from the traps of the enemy at this time. As I speak, your loved ones are being released from the tricks, from the traps, and the tactics of the enemy. You know, and those that mock, those that mimic, they're being revealed, they're being exposed, and they're being eliminated. You know. Your divine energy is being elevated. They're being eliminated. Meanwhile, your divine energy is being elevated. Yes. Treated and abuse your mother over your inheritance. Your mother has been abused. Your grandmother has been abused. You have other loved ones here that have been abused. All over this jealous, this jealous energy. Okay, this is a demon. This is a projected demon. Someone has been, you know, projecting this jealous and envious energy by spreading these lies, by spreading these rumors. You know, they want you to be surrounded by hate. They want you to feel overwhelmed. They want you to feel, you know, just they want to break your spirit, but your strength outweighs their hatred. They want to break your spirit. You know, your prayers and your affirmations are extremely powerful. You know, that trap that was set for you has blown up in the faces of your enemy. You know, the trap that was set for your bloodline has blown up in the faces of the enemy. You know, yes, your brother was set up. You know, you see it, you sense it, and you feel it before it happens. You know, and again, there's multiple acts. There's so much viciousness that has been done that I'm seeing here, like in the now, in the present. But these people will be caught red-handed, and they on their way to prison. They sold their souls over this material and financial gain. These jealous and envious people. Yep, they all work together to block your path in an attempt to stop you. These people are joining up on a Zoom call. They're joining up over social media conferences, all to discuss this conspiracy, all to discuss this scheme, this plot, this plan. They're disguising it as a business. They're disguising it as a family group. But this is a hate group. These people are conspiring to take the lives of others. These people are conspiring to take away from the well-being of others. But they sold their souls over this material and this financial gain. You know, these setups, these altercations, these execution is being revealed, it's being exposed. The enemy is being eliminated, you know. Anyone that has been forced into a deadly gang, into a gang, has been released from the traps of the enemy, and this is past, present, and future energy. Yes, they're all working together. They are all working together. And this is all over jealousy. Again, the setup against your divine path has backfired on the enemy. There's inner child healing that is taking place for you. There's a massive spiritual awakening that is taking place for you. There's new money that is here for you. And we got your grandmother was sacrificed for money. You have passed on loved ones. You know, they're providing you with love, support, and protection through troubling times, trials, and tribulations. Yes, the trap that was set for your bloodline has blown up in the faces of the enemy. You know, your prayers and your affirmations are extremely powerful. You know, your mother is being released from the traps of the enemy, past, present, and future. You know, your loved ones, again, are being released from these deadly traps of the enemy, past, present, and future. This demonic minister spreading lies and disease is being revealed, exposed, and eliminated at this time. These gang rapists are being pulled out of the energy. Your grandmother was sacrificed for this money. Again, these gang-affiliated attacks will backfire you. They are backfiring. The mayor of New Orleans was a part of stealing your inheritance. You know what? It is what it is. But there's government officials. You know, I read that card out loud, but in my mind, I was reading it. You know, it was within, but the way it was to be delivered, it was delivered. So there's government officials that are involved in stealing your inheritance. Again, all of this is over lies, jealousy, greed, envy. Every trick, trap, this could be past, present, future. This could be a past, present, and future government official. I'm getting this is present, past, present energy. Every trick of the enemy has been revealed and exposed. You are making history. Yes, you are. Put these back in the deck. There's a season of refinement that is taking place at this time for you. You know, again, somebody thought it was cool to eat off your plate. She did. She thought it was cool to eat off your plate. She thought it was cute. She thought it was cute to eat off your plate. Again, there's a boxer that is going to prison for conspiring against you and your loved ones. You know, these people all work together, but that plan has backfired. You know, they work together in an attempt to stop you from rising and fulfilling your divine destiny. But that plan has backfired. These watchers are being revealed and exposed. They're being eliminated from your space and your energy at this time. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. You can affirm that again. These gang rapists are going their ass to jail. They're going to jail. Yep. They're going to jail. These gang rapists are going to jail. Look, confirmation. I didn't even know this call was behind it. But these rapists are going to prison. Just because they're haters. Just because they was hating. How you rape somebody because you hating. How you raping somebody over hate. Like, that's the worst thing you could do to somebody. Rape. These are humiliation rituals. Death rituals. It's not just an act of violence. These are rituals. Obsessive, delirious, and delusional. Being performed by these obsessive, delirious, and delusional individuals. They're going to ass to jail. Yep. Bitch ass nigga. Going to fuck down. Clown ass. They're going to have to transfer it all back. That stolen inheritance. They ain't get away with shit. They thought they did. But these rapists going to prison. And every dollar, every nickel, every penny, every cent, they're going to have to transfer it back. Yep. Well, going the fuck down. These city officials and these hood celebrities that were a part of stealing your inheritance. They're all being revealed. They're all being exposed. And they're all being eliminated. Yay. Mr. Bills is going to prison for rape and assault, harassment, stalking, and more. And I have victory is here for you, victorious. Your co-workers are going to prison for rape, for conspiracy, for assault, and more. It's about to be the coldest winter ever. But you took down this whole organization. These people are clicking up, ganging up across state lines. But you took down this whole organization. Yep, and just know that you haven't missed out on anything that God has for you. God got a bigger blessing for you. The delay wasn't denial. The delay is never denial. The delay will never be denial. Chapstick. Right here. All that God has for you is for you, my baby. You know, there's nothing that the enemy could do to stop, block, or destroy anything that God has for you. Cover that whole lip. Big lip back up. Alright. big African lips. But yes, these city officials and these hood celebrities that were a part of stealing your inheritance are being revealed, exposed, and eliminated. Yes, these gang members are on their way to prison. Your prosperity is being released from the traps of the enemy. You know, those that wanted to cause an altercation, you know, their evil works are being exposed. They are being eliminated. And his birth father is definitely on his way to prison for conspiring against his own family, against his own bloodline. You know, these people came together and they ate, they feasted. But guess what? It was your feast. And everybody ate except you, but justice is now. You know, you're on a special assignment. And the enemy would love for you to miss your calling. You know, every trick, trap of the enemy has been revealed and exposed. Every trick of the enemy. You know, you are history in the making. They wanted to stop you from making history, but you are history in the making. And they definitely underestimated you. You know, these government and city officials, these hood celebrities, they will regret, you know, coming against your divine path, coming against you on your divine path. You know, you got people that wanted you to keep starting over. But you are history in the making. Again, they underestimated you big time. They underestimated your gifts. They underestimated the power of God within you. They underestimated the work of God, the hand of God on your life. Yep. Again, they're going down for rape. These rapists are going to prison. They were all hating. Yes, it was your feast, and everybody ate except you. Yep, they want to create an altercation. They want to start an altercation to cause a delay. They wanted to cause an altercation to start an altercation. Excuse me. I'm a little tongue-tied. I've been going for hours, but this is exactly what I'm being guided to do. So again, I'm going to be obedient, Father, and I'm going to stay on until I'm tongue-tied. I can't talk no more. My eyes can't go no more until I can't go no more. You know, the message is going to be delivered. You know, this is divine timing. We're moving in alignment with divine timing. We're being placed in alignment. God is placing us right where we should be. You know, when God places us in a position, there is nothing that the enemy could do about it. Nothing that the enemy could do about it. You got to stand strong, baby. Head held high. Ready. Ready. Okay? Your grandmother was sacrificed for this money, okay? That's the energy. That's what's in the energy. There's a grandmother that was sacrificed over this money. She is coming in for her justice. This bitch ass nigga is going the fuck down. Okay? Yes, I'm getting it. This is his birth father. Again, they want to cause altercations because they want to cause delays. You know, they want to start altercations because they want to cause delays. You know, they want you to self-sabotage. But your prosperity is being released from the traps of the enemy. And these gang members are on their way to prison. Whether they like it or not. They're going their ass to jail. These city officials that were a part of stealing your inheritance. Their evil works, they're being revealed. They're all being exposed. And they're all being eliminated. This is defeat. This is the season of defeat for the enemy. All that belongs to you is being recovered and restored. Again, yes, victory is here for you, victorious. Victory is here and now. You know, you ain't miss out. God got a bigger blessing. So whatever it is that they attempted to kill, steal, and destroy is being recovered, restored, is being multiplied. You know, this old money is coming in. This new money is pouring in. You took down this whole organization. Yeah, it's about to be the coldest winter ever for your enemies and your co-workers again. Past, present, future, they going their ass to prison because they came together and did some foul shit. Yep, they going to jail. Yep. And then you got these bitch ass niggas that's jealous over social media. You know, all of these people, all of these evil works are being exposed. The vengeance of the enemy. God say vengeance is mine, baby. You know, these people were real vengeful. And it wasn't anything that you did. It was just who you are. It's all about who you are, you know. This divine energy that you exude, you know, this eternal abundance, this eternal prosperity. They hate to see you with it. Look, it ain't even on you, it's in you. Bitch ass niggas. Jealous over social media. You know, yeah, you know, you like to look nice and things like that. But your wealth is eternal. Your riches are eternal. Your abundance is eternal. Your prosperity is eternal. You know, your wisdom is eternal. You're eternally blessed. Eternally abundant. Eternally prosperous, excuse me. Eternally prophetic. I've been talking for a while, y'all. But I'm going to take my time and get through the message. Again, there is no weapon that is formed against you that shall prosper. You know, Isaiah 54:17. Again, there's government officials who are involved in stealing your inheritance. There's a mayor here. A mayor that is involved in stealing your inheritance. You know, jealous, greed. You know, these are people in higher positions, in which you currently stand. But these people are extremely jealous of you. These are gang-affiliated attacks. They all came together. They formed a gang. They formed a coven to destroy you. And here you stand. Now took down the whole organization. The secret trust fund is being revealed, is being recovered, is being restored. It's on its way to you. The enemy can no longer hide behind the mask, the veils. They can no longer cloak their energy. They can no longer hide their jealousy or their envy. You know, yeah. She thought it was real cute to eat off of your plate. I'm getting as this Stormy character. Wanted to be the main character. That's exactly what she is. This Stormy is going to prison because she thought it was cute to eat off of your plate. Your strength outweighs their hatred. I'm telling you, they underestimated you. They underestimated your strength. They underestimated the power of God that is within you. Your sister-in-law is going to prison for conspiring against your bloodline. Your strength outweighs the hatred of each one of these individuals. You could put their hate all together and your strength still outweighs them. You have God approved, God appointed, you know, God resource, divine resource strength, divinely resource. You're divinely resource. Yeah, she thought it was real cute to eat off of your plate. The Stormy going to prison. Their jealous asses hate you. Hate to see you using your gifts. They hate to see you in your element. Hate to see you evolving. These gang rapists are going to prison. This is different instances. It's about to be the coldest winter ever for these folks. This is a huge, huge, huge conspiracy. They are going to fucking jail. Rape your grandmother. These people, this is elderly abuse here. This is all over money. They did a lot of treacherous things. Vengeful. Your grandmother was sacrificed over this money. They wanted to stop you from making history. But just know, they cannot pay their way out of God's wrath. Bitch ass niggas that's jealous over social media. There's realignment that is taking place for you. Your jealous ass co-workers are going to prison. Past, present, future energy. You may no longer hold a position with these people. You may no longer work with them. But they are being pulled out of the energy for their vicious acts. They are being called to justice. They are facing judgment. They going their ass to prison. This is men and women. They going their ass to prison. Your hating ass co-workers, ex-co-workers, current co-workers, they going their ass to prison. These jealous ass co-workers. Going to prison. I don't know what the fuck they thought they was doing, but they going their ass to jail. They going to fucking jail. what the fuck they thought, but they going their dumb asses to jail. And so are all these other gang rapists going to jail. Inheritance thieves. Those that are posing a threat. Those that committed assault. They going their motherfucking asses to jail. That's the way the fuck they going. These hood celebrities. These fucking government officials. These government workers. They got doctors and lawyers out here. These fucking official ass people. These unofficial ass people. These reckless ass people. These petty ass, vengeful ass, dog ass people are going to jail. They stalking social media, but guess what? They going their motherfucking asses to jail. They can stalk that. Stalk the likes of that. Y'all going to fucking jail. Actually, y'all going to prison. Y'all going to prison for being jealous. Y'all going to prison for being jealous. The enemy threw your name in the fire, but God extinguished the flame. They doing all kind of witchcraft. They talking shit. They celebrating, but they got to give it all back. That stolen inheritance. They got to give it all back. Everything that they stole. Everything that they took. And they going to prison for all of their evil actions. Yay. I got your mother being forced against you, but she is being released from every trick, trap, and tactic of the enemy. This could be past, present, and future. This could be your birth mother. This could be a mother-in-love. This could be a mother-in-law. You know, however you wish to describe this mother or label this mother. But there is a mother that was being forced against you. But no longer, baby. She is taking back her authority, and so have you. You know, reconciliation, forgiveness is here. Every weapon formed has been dismantled, I'm telling you now. These people tried to feed the whole hood with your inheritance. But it's all being recovered and restored. It's being multiplied and it's being returned to you. It's on its way to you. Yep, they talking shit and celebrating, but they gotta give it all back. They sure do. They gotta give it all back. Yep, the enemy threw your name in the fire, but God extinguished that flame, baby. Your jealous ass co-workers are going to prison. They're going to prison. There's a whole community that is under judgment for the evil acts against you, against your bloodline. Some unbelievable ass shit. Believe it or not, the truth is being revealed. The truth is being exposed. There is healing here. You know, again, they talking a lot of shit, but none of it went over your head. And he will be embarrassed. He will be embarrassed by your victory. You know. I don't know why they thought they could sacrifice. I don't know why they thought they could sacrifice one of God's chosen people. One of God's children. Again, someone being forced into a deadly game with multiple tattoos. You see it, you sense it, you feel it. But this whole community will face judgment for their evil acts and actions against your bloodline. You know, these people have been trying so hard to hide their jealousy. They all on social media making comments knowing they hating. Knowing they doing things behind the scenes. Knowing they posing a threat in reality. You know, all of this cloaked up as energy is being revealed and exposed. It's being illuminated. You have incredible brain power. You know, you're a know-it-all. Your claircognizance is through the roof. You have the gift of all knowing. So if it's in your energy, you know, you'll be resourced with clarity on the subject. You know, people wonder why, how, or why. You know, you could talk about. You can have a conversation about anything because you're divinely resourced. You know, without ever having touched it, read about it, or learned about it in any other way outside of your divine resource, your divine connection to resource, to source, that God that is within you. You know, you have discovered that power. Ain't no turning back. You know, again, I'm getting someone that has the same initials as your birth mother, that signed her signature to forge or alter your birth certificate. All of the evil acts of these people are being revealed. They are being exposed. Again, your sensitivity is a gift. Your sensitivity is a gift. You know, your grandmother was sacrificed for this money. But all that the enemy attempted to kill, steal, and destroy is being recovered and restored. Your grandmother is here, you know, calling in this justice, bringing in this justice, demanding her justice. These people sold their souls over material and financial gain. But you are victorious, you know. And I have your brother was set up. But you are reclaiming. You are restoring your crown, your throne, and your inheritance. All that the enemy attempted to kill, steal, and destroy is being recovered and restored. You know. She definitely fucked up when she put her hands on your grandmother. I'm getting that this is the same energy that altered this birth certificate. She bears the same initials of your mother, of your birth mother. Her name has the same initials of your birth mother. But again, she definitely fucked up. 444 on the clock. Divine protection is here. When she put her hands on your grandmother. You know, again, you are on a special assignment. The enemy would love for you to miss your calling. Block out all distractions. Yes, your brother's death was a planned execution. You see it, you sense it, and you feel it before it happens. Your co-workers are going to prison. Your ex-manager is going to prison. from devious actions. You took down this whole organization. Your co-workers work together to cause destruction in the lives of others. And they go into prison. You got gang rape in the energy. And this is coming from your co-workers. Conspiracy, harassment, stalking, threatening. They're going to prison. These city officials and hood celebrities were a part of stealing your inheritance. They are also going to prison. And they're going to have to return it. They're going to have to pay it back. They're going to have to double it. So just know that you haven't missed out, because God has a bigger blessing for you. Like I said, they're going to have to double it. These city officials and these hood celebrities that were a part of stealing your inheritance. Your grandmother was sacrificed for this money. Yeah, we got mayors involved. I mean, we got people like really in politics that were involved in stealing your inheritance. These city politicians. Yep. You got co-workers and managers that were involved, that got involved. They were jealous of your divine energy. They got involved in this conspiracy against your bloodline. But guess what? These rapists are going. Yeah, they don't want that to be. These rapists are going to prison. Your co-workers and their names are all over. We got co-workers' names all over these cars right now. Yep, look, more again. This is a co-worker that's going to prison for rape and assault, harassment, stalking, and more. This is a manager, an ex-manager, or ex-boss of some sort. And this is your co-worker. Again, they're going to prison for rape and assault. You took down this whole organization. Somebody you are affiliated with and work in a work environment is going to prison for rape and assault, harassment. All because they wanted to cause a delay for you. All because they wanted to cause a delay for you. It was your feast and everybody ate except you. So it's an act of betrayal. There's an act of betrayal here. Your haters celebrated too soon. Your stolen inheritance is on its way to you. Jesus was not brought here to be a sacrifice, and neither were you. Cutthroat City is here. No confirmation. It's the energy they in. No confirmation. But you are victorious. I'm getting that this is the game. Your brother is being forced into. Past, present, future. This Cutthroat City. But every weapon of destruction has been dismantled. You are breaking these barriers. You are breaking these curses. Liberation and freedom is here for you. Excuse me, and your loved ones. Yep, gang rape is definitely here. Gang rape is definitely here. You're breaking these barriers. Look. Why I have rape on so many cards? Because that's how strong it is in the energy. They're going to prison. They're going to ask the prison, and God wanted to ensure that this message was delivered. These dog-ass rapists are going to prison. Life is about to be sweet like honey for you. Your loved ones. You know, these hidden enemies are being revealed and exposed. They're all being eliminated, each and every one of them. You know, they felt as if causing a loss for you would create a gain for them. But they lied to themselves. They set themselves up. These gang rapists are going to prison. You know, again, your brother's death was a planned execution. Your stolen intellectual property is being recovered and restored. This old money is being recovered and restored. This new money is pouring in abundance. Your brother's death was a planned execution. And we got murder over inheritance. And again, another gang rape card and another victim. To you from God. Just know that. And never forget that I love you. God wants you to know that He loves you unconditionally. Here go another gang rape card. Another victim. That was incredible. They want to know how the fuck did you know that? Yep. The enemy, you know, they frivolous in the energy. You know, they stalking. You know, they real agitated right now. They big mad, you know, because they know that their time is up. Their time is up. All evil acts are being exposed. And this old money is being recovered and restored. This new money is pouring in. Yep. These people traveled across state lines to commit crimes against you. But it has all backfired. It has all backfired. You know, you are victorious. Just know that. You know, you got people that purposely place mixed judgment in your energy. You know, by spreading lies and rumors. You know, these are people that spread lies and rumors to cause division. You know, lies and rumors to slander your name, to defame you, to discredit you. But these rapists, again, will regret their actions. These murderers will regret their actions. You are victorious. You're claiming victory for not only yourself, for your bloodline, for your loved ones, for your divine partner, for your legacy. You're claiming victory. Victorious. Your prayers and your affirmations are extremely powerful. You know, again, they traveled across state lines to commit these crimes against you. But this old money is being recovered and restored. And this new money is pouring in abundance. Yeah, they know that their time's up. They already know. They know their time's up. You have broken these barriers, you know. Yeah. These gang rapers are going to prison. Do you hear me? Your co-workers. These other gang-affiliated attackers. These other gang members, these other gang rapists, across state lines, they're going to prison. Your stolen inheritance is on its way to you. So no matter what they did, how low they went, they sold their own souls. Because all of this has backfired. Look, traveled across state lines to commit crimes against you, and it all backfired. Your stolen inheritance is on the way to you. Now, victorious. They celebrated too soon. Yeah. They tried to feed the whole hood with your inheritance. 4:56 on the clock. Ground yourself to receive the abundance that is in store for you. And you can affirm, this is my season of abundance. Once you're grounded, there's nothing that the enemy can do about it. There's nothing that they can do to stop, block, or destroy what God has for you. They definitely tried to feed the whole hood with your inheritance. But these government officials, these hood celebrities, these co-workers, these evil family members, they're all being revealed. They're all being exposed, and they're all being eliminated. These gang rapists are on their way to prison. Continue to exude these vibes, You were created this way. You were created to shine. Look. Keep shining bright. I'm telling you. Keep shining bright. Look. It's the vibes. It's the vibes. We got the cages. There's Mr. and Mrs. They on their way to prison. They were a part of stealing your inheritance. I told y'all I will share the cards with names on them as I am led to, as I am guided. If it just flows that way, that's the way we're going with it. So, your haters celebrated too soon. These rapists are going to prison. They will regret their actions. Do you hear me? They will regret their actions against you. This Mr. and Mrs. is on their way to prison. They were a part of stealing your inheritance, Again, they celebrated way too soon. You are victorious. Murdered over inheritance. They were a part of this conspiracy against your bloodline. They going to jail. Yeah. These hood celebrities. I got Super was also involved in a conspiracy against you. It's all being revealed. It's all being exposed. These enemies are being eliminated. These evildoers are being eliminated. Again, you got these billionaire vibes. You're creating masterpiece. You've created a masterpiece. God showed up and he showed out for you. God is showing up and he is showing out for you. He is not playing about you. He's not playing about you at all. Not even much a little bit. These people paid for medical and dental procedures with your inheritance. It's all being revealed. It's all being exposed. They're all being eliminated. Yep. This cutthroat city, this whole organization is going down. You brought down the whole organization. The delay wasn't denial. Look. This was a vicious attack. Yep. This is a vicious attack. These people paid for these medical and dental procedures with your inheritance. But just know that the delay wasn't denial. You were viciously attacked. But these gang members, these gang affiliates are being revealed, exposed, and eliminated, each and every one of them. Your stolen intellectual property is also being returned. You don't look like what you've been going through. You don't look like what you've been through or what you're going or growing through. I had to rephrase that myself because it looked like I kind of lost train of thought right there. The enemy attempted to depreciate and devalue your bloodline. But you're being appreciated, you know, and God sees your true value. You know, they tried to embarrass you, but God flipped the script in the switch. You have all that you need. You know, this old money is being recovered and restored. This new money is pouring in abundance. Yeah, these people, you know, I mean, they went low. Like, they went low. Like, they went low. This is like doggish, real doggish shit. You know, real doggish, real foul. You know, cutthroat. They on some cutthroat shit, but they going there as the prison. They going there as the prison. These rapists, especially, are going to prison. Again, they tried to feed the whole hood with your inheritance. You have broken these barriers. You know, these gang rapists, again, they going to prison. This best enemy of yours is being revealed and exposed. You know, this is someone that is determined to be an enemy in your life. You know, and they don't want to present themselves as an enemy. They want to present themselves as a friend. Petty. You know, real childish, real immature. Something hidden in the attic just because they want to, you know, they want to fiddle with your heart. They want to play with your heartstrings. They want you to feel damaged. They want you to feel insecure. They want you to feel broken, hurt, you know, by their actions. Okay, and there's something that's hidden in the attic that's also to be found in connection to this stolen inheritance. You know, these gang rapists. This is two gang rape cards, two different gang rape cards. These gang rapists are going to prison. You know, they actually thought that they was going to get away with this vicious ass shit. But they going their ass to prison. It's a whole nother gang rape card too. They going to prison. Yep, another gang rape card. They going to prison. So fuck what they talking about because it's all irrelevant. They going their ass to prison. You know that you're chosen. The enemy knows it too. They know it. They know you're chosen. That's why it took so many of them to come against you. You know, they tried their best to embarrass you, but God flipped that script and the switch. These gang rapists are going to prison. You know, I may be speaking to a veteran. You're under global attack, past, present, and future. You're currently under global attack. You know, they tried to feed the whole hood with your inheritance. Just a lot of money. Millions. Not a million, millions. It's a lot of money involved. Pineapple season, 5:04 on the clock. Again, confirming that you are royalty and you are reclaiming the precedence of your ancestors. You are taking back all that belongs to you, all that was lost, stolen, forgotten about, all that the enemy attempted to kill, steal, and destroy. You are reclaiming it. You're taking back your authority. You're standing in your power. You're reclaiming your abundance, your prosperity, your peace. You know, God's children are royalty and should be treated as such. Again, 5:04 on the clock, confirmation. You know, this old money is being recovered and restored. This new money is pouring in abundance. That's that release, 5:05. You know, because you are victorious. They that conspired are being eliminated. They're all being eliminated. Each and every one of them. These stolen assets are being recovered, returned, and restored. These investments, these homes, and these cars, they're all being recovered and restored. They're all being returned to you. Again, these gang rapists are going to prison. Keep shining bright. They wanted to dim your light. You're intimidated. They are intimidated. They're extremely intimidated. But these humiliation rituals will backfire on the enemy. Again, Jesus was not brought here to be a sacrifice, and neither were you. Your ex-co-workers are going to prison for gang rape, for assault, for fraud, and more. They're about to be X'd out. Conspiracy. These gang members are being pulled out of the energy. This gang affiliation is being revealed. These gang affiliated attacks are being exposed. The enemies are being eliminated. The gang members are being eliminated. They're on their way to prison. A lot of these people are on their way to prison. They're trying their best to hold you back. But you already broke these barriers. And just know that your loved ones have been freed from the tricks, traps, and tactics of the enemy, past, present, and future. The cages, as well as these fellow gang members, are on their way to prison for rape, conspiracy, and murder. These hating hoes, their hateful, evil acts are all being revealed and exposed. They did not take heed to the warnings. They didn't take heed. And these evil-ass parents that's authorizing hits on their own child or children, they're also being revealed, exposed, and eliminated. Yep, you took down the whole organization that came against you and your bloodline. They got vengeful over something that should have been settled over a conversation. But again, these humiliation rituals are backfiring on the enemy. They attempted to depreciate and devalue you, to devalue your bloodline. But you're all being valued, and you're all being, God sees your true value. You are being appreciated. Just know that your stolen intellectual property is being returned to you. All that the enemy attempted to kill, steal, and destroy is being recovered and restored. And these gang members are being revealed. Their evil acts are being exposed, and they're being eliminated. They're on their way to prison. Because why? Your brother's death was a planned execution, and all of those who conspired are being revealed and exposed. Again, God is speaking through you, and God is speaking to you at this time. Block out all distractions. You are on a special assignment. The enemy would love for you to miss your calling. They definitely tried to feed the whole hood with your inheritance. But their setup against your bloodline has backfired on the enemy. Yeah, their setup against your divine path has backfired on the enemy. You are manifesting this abundance. You are manifesting this peace and prosperity. You've manifested this protection and this guidance, these enhancements, these big blessings, this massive spring harvest. You're the unicorn. Again, you have discovered the magic that is within, and there are enhancements that are here for you. You have breaking free of this generational trauma and afflictions. There's abundance that is pouring in, that is being attracted and received. You are royalty. And getting the king of the jungle is roaring in the seas, has found his roar. You know, new money is being recovered and restored. So masculine, you're healing again. You're healing that divine masculinity. You know, the enemy wanted to take your confidence away. Divine masculine and divine feminine. You know, but you are receiving clarity. You know, you are the butterfly. There's a rebirth that is here for you. You're blooming. You found your wings. You know, April showers of abundance. So prepare, you know, for this major harvest. This abundant harvest. They tried their best to kill your buzz, but you still buzzing. You know, again, we're going into this next season. I'm speaking to a natural born healer. You know, and again, kings and queens are rising into union. You know, kings and queens are rising into union. Queens, as we rise, our kings will rise with us. You know, remain encouraged. Yep, royal unions are taking place. You know, your energy is enormous. 504. Confirmation on the 504. You know, this busy bee. There's a busy bee that's been in the energy, you know, stealing from the hive, buzzing around the truth. The black sheep of the family is in most cases the chosen one of the family. I'm speaking to a black sheep. You know, your king is preparing your palace. He has chosen you as his queen. You know, red roses are blooming for you again. The honeybee is being crowned in this season. Yeah, confirmation. Your king is preparing your palace, queen. Your divine relationships and partnerships are being released from the traps of the enemy. You know, there is enhancements that are here for you. You are unfuckwittable, the real magician. You have found the magic that is within. And we're going to go ahead on and start wrapping this reading up. The rabbit is out of the hat, you know, and the honeybee is being crowned. I just mentioned the honeybee being crowned. You know, so that, again, remain encouraged. You know, remain encouraged. The rabbit is out of the hat. The honeybee is being crowned. Confirmation. You know, these enhancements are here for you. The season of restoration will replenish all that the enemy attempted to kill, steal, and destroy. Again, these enhancements are here for you. This season of restoration will restore, will replenish all that the enemy attempted to kill, steal, and destroy. You know, receive this rebirth. You are being guided towards your eternal treasure. Again, restoration, rebirth, and renewal. You know, this lotus energy of enlightenment. You know, you're being led towards this exclusive and inclusive dwelling. Again, queen, your palace is being prepared for you. You know, continue to do your spring cleaning. Prepare for your spring cleaning. You know, clear out that clutter. Make space for the abundance that's in store. You know, those demons and those demonic energies that refuse to flee are being slayed. You're slaying demons. I'm speaking to a spiritual warrior. You know, and you got these big old billionaire vibes. Diamonds are forever. I'm speaking to a diamond. You know, and this new money is definitely pouring in for you. So, again, you know, they try to kill, steal, and destroy that divine abundant energy that you continue to exude, you know, and there's nothing that the enemy can do about it. You know, honestly, there's nothing that they can do about it. You know, though they're being fooled to believe that there's something that they can do about anything, that there's something that they can take anything, that they can take from you what God has for you. Excuse me, I got tongue-tied. But You know, they're being fooled to believe that they can take from you what God has for you. But that's just not the way it's going down. You know, it can't happen that way. It's impossible for it to happen that way. That's not the way God designed it. That's not the way he planned it. And God's promises and plans are being fulfilled for you in this season victorious. Receive it.